Hey Scott here. Today we're working on my son's go-kart, and the reason we're working on it is because it just is always constantly stalling, can't seem to make it up hills, and just doesn't have a lot of power until you get it going on a flat surface. Then it's got all kinds of guts, but we're having an issue just keeping it started, and I hate chasing him around on a mini bike trying to get it started every time he stalls. So this is what I figured out. Alright, so we're trying to solve a mystery here on the Coleman CK100-S go-kart that belongs to my son. I picked this thing up for him used, and it runs and starts and all that stuff. And then we brought it over to my sister's house, and she's got a pretty good chunk of property to play with, but it included some hills. And over there at my sister's place, there was an identical go-kart that belongs to my nephew, my son's cousin. And the two go-karts side by side are just a big difference. The cousin's go-kart over there has no problem starting up, stays running up and down hills, no problem whatsoever. This one, however, once you get down on a flat and you open it up, it's got lots of speed, but oftentimes when you get to a hill, if you're not going fast enough, you're not going to make it up that hill. It just seems to lose a lot of power. And also it likes to stall a lot, and as soon as you ease off the gas, it'll stall. And so I'm trying to figure out what is causing this thing to be so finicky. My son is only 60 pounds, and he said, "Dad, sometimes if I can't get up the hill, I just ease off on the gas, allow myself to roll backwards down the hill, and then I give her again, and then I can usually make it." But I started digging into this thing, and I was thinking about the engine here. So I'd never really serviced the engine, so I decided that I was going to get a new carburetor for it. That was cheap enough. I checked the valve lash, and the valve lash checked out. I checked the compression, and the compression was fine. What else did I do? I cleaned the air filter. I replaced the spark plug with a good NGK spark plug. I put fresh high-octane gas in it, and I mean, it seems to run okay, except I still cannot get the power that the other one has. I have over there, see, this is my driveway, I have a hill, and I tell you what, that go-kart can't even come up the hill of my driveway. Now granted, I was in it and I'm 200 pounds versus my 60-pound son, but there's still a problem. So I decided to dig a little deeper, and I came over here, forget about the engine for a moment, and I popped the clutch off. Okay, so here's what I found. I won't go into detail of how I got all that off, but I will show you how I get the new one back on. Because here's what I found. The clutch I noticed that the clutch is sticking out here, and you can tell it was rubbing on the outside, the plate, whatever. Right down there you'll see. Right here. Okay. But at the same time, if you look closely, you'll see there's a crack in the metal here, and here, and here. And that's not supposed to be there. So we got a new clutch. Alright, so we got the new clutch in the mail today. Oops. Pardon my finger. Got some hardware. And here's the new clutch. Of Ashley. And if you take a look here, see, no cracks in the metal like the other one. These clutches have a 5/8 inch diameter, and they have, this is for a 3/8 chain, a number 35 chain, and I can't remember if they're 11 tooth or 12 tooth, but we're going to put the new clutch on and see if that makes a difference. Worst case scenario, that needed to be replaced anyway. Alright, so I didn't have the camera on when I took this off. I want to show you, this is a new clutch. There's a snap ring in there, and I use my snap ring pliers to stretch that out and pull it off. You didn't necessarily have to do that, but I can tell you what, because if you want to take the whole clutch off by itself, all that does when you take that snap ring off, it allows you to remove this outer piece, but the inner piece stays put. Alright, you can see that this gear right here is in the way, so I can't get that clutch off of there. So what I did was to get it off, there's 4 bolts and 10 millimeter, and I've already got them loose here a little bit. Pull the bolts off. And I found out I didn't have to get the one down there, just had to loosen it. A little bit more. And now this thing will slide far enough out of the way to get the clutch off. And there's the clutch. Alright, so before I put the new clutch on, I'm going to use a little bit of a anti-seize lubricant. This stuff you got to be careful with. As a good friend of mine says, this stuff seems to get on things that you don't even touch. New clutch here. Up with the keyway. There we go. And then there's a little bit of a lip inside there. I got to get past that lip. Feels like it's right there, but I'm looking at how these teeth line up with these teeth, and it's just not quite there. I feel like I should get this on a little bit further. What's catching? Let me tap on it a little bit with a hammer. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to start putting these bolts back in place. Oh, and let's not forget that the new clutch came with some hardware. So we might as well put one of those on. it's not coming out. All right, and then we'll take the other chain. Wrap it under the gear on the axle. Up to here. I think I made a mistake because I need to get a little bit closer. So I think what I'll have to do is loosen these back up and move this a little bit because I am not going to be able to get my master link in there. Alright, lesson learned here. Do not tighten these 4 bolts until you have the chains hooked up, because now I have the reach to put my master link in here, and after the chains are both attached, then I could adjust this accordingly. Just snug them both up. Okay, so I've got everything all put back together. I've got the chains all hooked up again. Got the new clutch on, the bolt on the end of the shaft. Got these 4 bolts all tightened up. Now before I put the guard on, I'm going to fire this up and have my son take it for a ride. Tell me if he notices a difference. Alright, he's going to go around and stop at the end of the driveway here. And then he's going to try to come up the driveway. Before, it didn't have the guts to do this. Ooh, looks like a happy boy. No problem. Alright, so there we are. We got the chain guard back on. Got everything buttoned up. My son's a happy camper. He can ride this thing without stalling it all the time. And I really think it's just the old clutch was basically causing so much friction that it was killing the engine, because the engine couldn't overcome the friction from the broken clutch. And as you saw in the video, he's able to get up that hill on the driveway, and I even put my 200-pound butt in the seat and did the same thing. Was able to come up the driveway without having a stalling issue or anything like that. So there we go, replacing the clutch on a Coleman CK100-S seems to have done the trick. Thanks for watching.